Good morning to all.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
We are live on YouTube as well.
Good morning, everyone. We welcome you all for this webinar. This is a third webinar in series for Project NOFEVER, and we call for action, and we involve everyone. We invite everyone to partner with us, and together we should fight all viral fevers. Most of you would have already attended a few of our webinars earlier, but a few of you might be new to this webinar series. So just to let you know that this Project NOFEVER is to prevent any kind of fever, the greater focus on mosquito-borne infections and dengue. We have so far talked about what is the importance of controlling dengue, especially in Hyderabad, and how should we go about it, what are the control measures, how it affects the life of people, and why it is so particularly important in COVID times. This particular season, monsoon season and post-monsoon, is very vital. We will touch upon few of these facts also while we are talking about this webinar where this masterclass is. However, the focus in this masterclass will be more on what you can do and it will be action oriented. You will see the expert doing activities for you. If you may have any doubts and any questions because you have not attended previous webinars, or the questions and answers, questions and doubts related to what is being talked today, please feel free to put up your questions in the chat. And you may also see on the Zoom that you have a hand raise option. You can raise your hands and we can then invite you individually to take up your questions at the end of this webinar. But you can write your questions as you go along throughout this webinar in the chat box. And our experts will keep responding to your questions in the chat as well. So you all can also refer to the YouTube channel which we have on which the live YouTube is going live. We have shared that with you.
Dr. Samiksha and Chaitanya, the
Yes.
YouTube video is not live yet.
Sir, it's already just started now, sir. Started now.
There's always a time lag between YouTube and Zoom. It started now. Sorry.
It says 18 are waiting.
I guess it will just take a couple of minutes to start on YouTube. I'm sure all we are talking will be updated there as there is some time lag. We'll wait for Chaitanya to confirm that it is started before we start on the actual aspects of our webinar.
Chaitanya has
It's already started. It's already started. YouTube is, I'm just running on the other system also. It was running, but it was getting a little bit delay on the video.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chaitanya.
Is it a different link? Is there a different link or is it the same link as before?
The same link, sir. Same link only.
Chaitanya, Karunakar here. I'm also logged on to YouTube. I don't see anything other than the slide of Project NOFEVER. That's it.
Yeah, same here. I also don't see it live
Once
yet.
let me refresh it once again, sir.
Yeah,
I think it will come, sir.
Yeah, please do that.
I guess if you can see the slide moving or the video which is on the Zoom, I hope you will know that it is working. But anyhow, for all our attendees on Zoom, we shall continue. In the meantime, while we are figuring out this technical glitch and we are also waiting for other participants to join, I'm sure you will be enjoying the facts which are visible to you on the screen. You can note that the mosquitoes are amongst the dangerous animals on this earth, even worse than humans. So that's a reason that we need to focus on controlling this mosquito menace. And everybody has been asking us the question, why dengue amongst all mosquito-borne diseases in Hyderabad? So I just want to take this as an opportunity to let you all know that thankfully, Hyderabad, we do not have malaria menace as much as it is noted in other parts of the country. In all the vector-borne diseases in Hyderabad city, Dengue and chikungunya account to 95% of the problem, and both of them are spread through Aedes. So it was a conscious decision of Project No Fever that while we focus on all the aspects of fever prevention, which you are talking by wearing masks, you are controlling airborne fevers, by hand hygiene, you are controlling a lot of contact-based infections, by having safe water and safe food and hygienic food, you are attempting to control a lot of water and foodborne infections. But mosquitoes is something we have been avoiding, or we leave it on our governments to deal with it. And this season, monsoon, we all are aware that while we are controlling for all other kinds of fever, mosquitoes are something which we have not taken in the forefront so far. And with the realization that dengue is the most common one in Hyderabad amongst the mosquito-borne infections, you need to know that dengue is more closer to us, in our houses and around our houses. And we as a community can deal it with better. In fact, we have to deal it with ourselves with the support from GHMC for outdoor collection of waters and mosquito breeding. For dengue, we needed much more of community's engagement. And that's a reason that when you see us talking about Project No Fever, we are focusing more on the mosquitoes aspect. But be rest assured that time and again, we'll keep saying, and we do keep saying, that do prevent yourself from other infectious sources. Do take all the precautions for COVID-19. Whenever you are stepping out, take all the precautions and also keep yourself safe. I guess the message regarding the importance of Project Fever has gone well ahead. So, as Chaitanya, can you confirm, or Shori, can you confirm, are we on YouTube now so that I can start and invite all the panelists?
We are not yet on.
Chaitanya, to just check whether it is the same link. If it is a different link, I'll share it on the YouTube.
Sure, sir.
Yeah.
They're still waiting. I've given the Zoom link. Some people may move from YouTube.
Yeah, I now see 44 participants on the Zoom link, Sauri. So it looks like a lot of them have moved on to Zoom.
Yeah. Chaitanya, I request you to try one last time. It does say live on custom streaming service here, but it doesn't seem to be reflecting reality. Maybe
Custom live screen only I've done it, sir. I'm just checking the link, if it the same link, or if anything has been changed, I will keep it in the chat window, sir.
ठीक है, जल्दी देख के कंफर्म कर.
Sir, I will update right now.
there is a lag, so kindly. I think people are, let me just get the...
Yeah, we now have 48 people on the Zoom link. And what I would suggest is that we start, because the entire recording also can go onto YouTube, even if there is a bit of a delay.
Right. So I welcome you all again on behalf of Indian Institute of Public Health, Hyderabad, and Dr. Reddy's and GHMC. We all together make a Project No Fever team, and the volunteers and the residents who have joined here. So this webinar is basically the third in the series, and it's the masterclass today. And we call it a masterclass because you will learn a lot of things here in terms of what actions you have to take. So I'll just run you through the agenda for the today's masterclass and what you can expect. So first of all, we'll be telling you about what we have done so far, and we'll invite all our participants to join the journey which we are progressing in. And this is a community-led program. So we'll call all your participation. So I'll invite Mr. Shori to talk about it. Then we have special guest, Dr. Ram Babu, who is entomologist with GHMC, and he has been actively involved with the mosquito control activities as well as COVID control activities in this season. So he is he's the right person to talk about and inform you and educate you about the specifics of the intervention they themselves are doing, and they would request all the participants to do it in their house and around their houses. So specifically, he'll be talking about how to prepare and use TEMFOS and to even identify larvae. He will be using a video, so it will be very interesting. So please stay with us throughout the webinar and enjoy. Next, Dr. Rajan Shukla from IIPH Hyderabad will show you how to prepare a attractive toxic sugar bait to trap and kill the mosquitoes in your near vicinity. It is very interesting, can be made at home, very easy to make, and will be interesting to use. He will also let you know about how to use your GHMC app to report any of the problems, any of the complaints, and escalate it to the knowledge of GHMC so that we can call upon some action and support from outside. Then we will have Joshua to share with you what volunteer kit we are sharing with our volunteers. All the participants here, just for your knowledge, few of the employees from DRL and IIPH Hyderabad have volunteered to support the RWAs and their community to take this action further. So they have been provided with the material and products which they can use in their house and also in their community and support their RWA. So this kit is available to for the volunteer in your community, and we are inviting 4 or 5 volunteers in every residential colony, depending on the size of the residential society. So those who have not yet volunteered, if are willing to support these volunteers from DRL and IIPH Hyderabad, we welcome you. So Joshua will show you what that kit would look like. And lastly, I will be talking about how it is important to sustain the community participation, and only by doing sustained activities we can achieve and control the mosquito menace. I'll be reinforcing previous messages from last 2 webinars, including and adding on to what we'll be talking today. So that would be kind of a summary of what actions we have to take together. And towards the end, then we will take question and answers. We will have mainly 3 panelists. And I would also like to invite Dr. Ram Babu to join us for the question and answer session, if he can stay with us till the end of the webinar. So in this question and answer round, we will take up all the questions that you will put up on chat, or you will raise your hands. Those who are joining us through YouTube, please, you can also write your questions in the chat on YouTube. We will be answering them both at YouTube and Zoom. So,
yeah, Samiksha, so now YouTube is live. I think there was a mix-up in the link. It generated a new link, and we have shared that new link also on the YouTube chat box, the earlier chat box, and it is shared here also on the Zoom chat box.
Right. Thank you for sorting this out. Last-minute technical glitches always happen. I hope, Joshua, you have got that link and you can share it with...
I've shared in the panelist also,
right.
the link also. And
right.
the YouTube chat window also I've shared the link.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. And please, Shauri and Joshua, if you can simultaneously check that our participants are joining the correct link also, if we can keep writing on the YouTube link. So we are live right now. So I now invite Mr. Shauri to introduce our new panelists and also address to the participants. Thank you, Mr. Shauri.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this rainy Sunday morning and on what is an important weekend for all, the Independence Day weekend. This is a very important event for us, where we start our fight against dengue fever with actual tools in our hands. We have put together a volunteer kit with physical material that against quite a bit of odds, the team has sourced from various parts of the city and outside the city, and is being distributed at our Dr. Reddy's campus for the volunteers or employees of Dr. Reddy's. And there's others who want, you can get in touch with us. Please chat with us here, and we will guide you through how to get those materials. Having said that, I am very honored to invite on our panel today, Dr. Ram Babu, Chief Entomologist of GHMC. When we started this project, we got in touch with various authorities in GHMC, and we were extremely honored and pleased with the kind of support and kind of commitment that was shown by the various officers of the organization. And in particular, GHMC, the chief entomologist, has come on board to show us how to apply the various means and measures to fight mosquitoes. Dr. Rambabu and the team have also shared with us the various activities that they're doing this year to prevent dengue fever, prevent the growth of mosquitoes. In fact, when some of the areas on the Telegram group, some of you have reached out to us asking for immediate action on large stagnant water bodies in your areas, we got in touch with Dr. Rambabu or his team members, and they were immediately able to come and take action. So I am so happy that we are part of a city where the city administration is quite active, proactive. And with that, I welcome to what you have to teach us to. We should leave only to the government. Citizens must play our role, and we will play our role. Thank you so much.
So, Samiksha, you're muted.
Thank you. Now I'd like to invite Dr. Rambabu to engage with us and educate us about the control measures. Rajan, I'll request you to help play with the video. Sir,
Yeah.
Dr. Rambabu, before we would invite you to say a few words before we play your video.
Good morning to all. Actually, GHMC is the 1 crore population it is totally covering. We are having 652 teams. And we are every day we are covering all the houses as per the pinpoint programs. And our staff, we are having 2,500 staff. So we are having the problem of external bleeding and internal bleeding. I already told. The problem of the dengue is from the internal bleeding. We have the stagnation water of the in the houses with the containers. So they are not throwing the water; they are keeping the containers like that only. Because of that, the mosquito will come and laying eggs, which will come to a larva and pupa, and it is coming as a mosquito. Because of mosquito, we are getting problems. I'm very happy that you people joined us to serve the community, particularly already Dr. Jairam sir told that 300 volunteers are joining to serve the community. So I'm very happy. It will be more helpful to the community to reduce the mosquito nets. I will start with the video. I will explain everything. So actually, these are the common things in the community. Actually, these are the things we are getting in the community, in the houses. So that is the mainly 3 types of the mosquitoes are there, and one is the Aedes aegypti, and another is the Anopheles and Culex. These first two types of the Anopheles and Aedes is causing the dengue, chikungunya, and Anopheles. The problem is the dengue. So these are all the containers we are getting. It will be in the fresh water only, like. So see, there is in the houses. Most probably this is the flower vases, flower pots are there. So there we are getting the most of the dengue cases. We are getting the here in the Hyderabad city. Most of the people are VIP people or VVIP people. Most of the people are interested to grow these flower pots and the stagnation of water in the plates. Because of that, we are getting the larva. And we are also observed that the tiles are also there. After the completion of the summer, they will throw the tiles in the inside the houses, and with that also, if the rain is coming, the rainwater will be entering into the tiles. We are getting the Aedes aegypti. Eggs are laying and become the Aedes aegypti, and we are showing that stagnation of water in the plate. It is having the larva. Then identify the Aedes aegypti larva is in that. See that the movements of the Aedes aegypti larva is there. Actually, Aedes aegypti larva is the very fast moving is there. That is the one of the indication. And another, it is having this small type of the siphon tube, and another is the Anopheles. It is the surface of the water, and another is the Culex. So Culex is having the more big siphon tube. It will take more oxygen from outside. So the problem is that with the dengue Aedes aegypti. So we are showing that you can observe the larva in that, And you can take this tire also. So I already told that in the tire also there is a stagnation of water inside it, and these the chances of the getting of the larva, egg larva, and Aedes aegypti mosquito will come out in that. So that we have to do like this. The water is in the tires. We have to move it and throw the water outside. Otherwise, the mosquito will come outside. So another thing, and we are showing that different things are there. Other different things are plastic containing materials are there, drums are there, other things are there. So this is the in that plastic container also some water, rainwater is there. In that also larva is we are identifying. I'm showing. See clear cut larva is there. So we have to throw every container water at least weekly once. It is very important to clear the water. So that is very important. You can observe. I am showing that larva inside it, and another thing you have to identify the. I am showing that the pot also there. In the pot also we are showing that there's coconut shell also there. They are taking the coconut water and showing that some cup also there. So all these things are just in 1 ounce of water. The egg will 150 to 200 eggs will be laid in that. So these are the things, and so showing the larva inside after getting the water. So we are showing the larva inside it. You observe that. So you can observe in the surrounding of the houses. They will simply are the tea stalls or somewhere any functions are there. They will throw the tea cups and everything. There is a chances of the Aedes aegypti, that is for more for the dengue and chikungunya. And we are observing of the some of the places. That is the one rule we will call it. Before that, we'll do pickles in that. So now the grinders are coming. They are on and off. They are using, and because of that also the water stagnation will be there. I am showing that plenty of larvae in that. We show that Aedes aegypti larva is in that. You can identify that. That larva is floating in that. So we have to remove that water, and we have to just put some sand or remove it. So that is the for the that thing. And we are observing, see all types of containers are there in the houses what we are using frequently. So there is the chances of the breeding sources of all these containers. And that I am showing that again that larva. So another important thing is there is a larva. Another important thing is, and this you show this pot also there. The pot I am showing that in the inside the pot also there is larva is there. Stagnation of water they are throwing it. Another thing, important thing we have to identify is simply throwing the water is not important. We have to scrub the containers also, because there is a transovarian transmission is there, because egg will be lay inside. And after 1 year also the water come inside, it will the egg will be regenerated, it will come as a mosquito. So that is important. Scrubbing of the vessels is very, very important. Most of the people, they will simply throw the water and keep like that only. So see that inside there is a chances of the egg also there. So simply we have to completely scrub the any container. So like that we have to see many things, and some air coolers are there, some where we have to simply they are putting the water inside, and they will not throw the water. So there is a more 70% in the city, 70% chances are the for the laying of the Aedes aegypti for the dengue. So air coolers are this also very important to remove the water. And here I am showing the demonstration of the team of us how we will. I will prepare the team of us solution. That is the 5 ml bottle cap is there that contains 5 ml. That bucket is 10 liters. We can put it that 5 ml, and it will make 10 liters of the team of us solution. It will use for the larvicides. So we can put all the containers where there is having the larva, and we have to prepare that the team of us solution. So one 5 ml we can take the 10 liters of the water, we can take 10 bottles, because the volunteers it is easy. That is the bottle, and that the cap is there, and we can put a hole also inside it, and so like that we can prepare 10 bottles, one bucket. So we will simply take all the solution and we will sprinkle it on all the containers. That is very, very important. And simply we are putting this all the containers. The Timofast solution, immediately the larva will die. There is no production of the mosquito. It's very important. And all the containers, plastic containers and everything are there. And that is the cooler, cooler water tool is the best thing. And these are the important things. We have to prepare the Timofast solution. And it is a larvicide, effective larvicide we are using in the GHMC. And that is the 5 liters pure Timofast. I am showing that tin. It contains 5 liters. It's enough for the we can cover the at least 1 lakh houses easily for that solution. That is important. We can take that solution. After that, we will prepare it that 5 ml into 10 liters. But it is easy for the all the volunteers. And another thing is I am showing that biological control Gambusha fishes are there. The Gambusha fishes are plenty in the Hyderabad city, and it is not having any chemical. You can put these Gambusha fishes into the larva. The Gambusha will eat on biological control. The Gambusha will eat this larva. So it is very, very effective rather than you can put in the stagnation water or the wells, whatever it may be. You can put it in this Gambusha fish. See there how the Gambusha is eating. Just I will show the biological control. Gambusha fish is eating the larva. We can show it. That is very, very important. We can take the Gambusha fishes in the plastic also with oxygen. We can take somewhere and throw it in the where the stagnation water also. And it will having the capacity. See that Gambusha is a very small size. The size is that only. It is eating the larva. The biological control is a very safe method. So the fish will be. It will not be harmful to anybody. It will go into the stomach also. It will not affect. It's a very easy method to control this larva by this Gambusha fish biological control method. This is very, very important. You can take fisheries department or GHMC. You can get that Gambusha and you can put it in the harvest. And that is the Knapsack Sprayer. What I am showing is the Knapsack Sprayer. It is having the 10 liters capacity of the Timofast. So he is doing spraying outside also, and he will keep a bottle also there. So because he will work for the 3 to 4 hours per day. So he is having the storage. I am asking where he will store the Timofast solution. He is showing that bottle is inside the bottle. Now he will show the bottle. That bottle is having the Timofast solution. Now he is showing the bottle. How is that bottle? See that inside he is keeping that bottle. It is containing of the Timofast, the larvicide. So he will that is the bottle of the Timofast. What he is doing for each 5 ml, the tank capacity is the 10 liters. So every time he is mixing like that. He is using for that 100 houses, and again he will take the water and mix the Timofast solution. Like that, he will visit daily 100 to 150 houses per day. That worker. These are the GHMC field workers and assistant entomologists. And he is doing like that with the Knapsack sprayer. There is a 2 methods, and one is with the Knapsack sprayer, and another is the bottle method. So it is very effective. Bottle he is sprinkling in the flower pots. You see this, it's very, very dangerous in the city. All flower pots. It is having the plates inside, and there is a chances of the more breeding sources in that flower pots. It is very, very important. There is a cooler also there, and indeed that cooler, 70% of the dengue cases coming from that cooler. And this is the sump. Their water is storing that, and we have to change the water weekly once, and we have to scrub the inside also that sump. And we are just 2 drops enough in that sump also, because the smell will come. And sometimes instead of that, in that 2 drops is enough. Sometimes we can use the coconut oil also as a larvicide, and it will be more effective. It will not harm to anybody. Some people will use the Timofast and they will tell smell is coming. At the time, we can ask them to put 2 3 drops of the coconut oil also. And these are the more important storage of the container in the houses of the Hyderabad. And there we are testing, and the cap is important, because the mosquito will come and laying eggs inside. So that covering of the containers, water containers are very, very important. And some are the things we are identifying, and that we are soap with the brushing of the vessels. We are washing of the vessels. In that also sometimes the water will be stagnant inside. The upside of that house, there is a lot of stagnation of the water is there, and we are doing the team of us spray inside. The larva, there is a possibility of the larva after rainfall. Very, very important thing is rains coming is it's not a problem for the mosquito. After stopping of the rain, there is a storage of the water. There is a chances of the third day or fourth day. There is a chances of the egg laying. So this is what are the things, wastage material that they are keeping like that only, and that wastage also you can observe larvas are there. That is a water tank and storage of the tanks. The cap should be very, very important. And sometimes you will see in that water, actually at that time there is no larva inside that. So covering of that container is very, very important. And in the cities, we are having the most of the things also. They are dropping that 1 or 2 drops of the Timopus inside. And most of the flower pots are you are seeing, and waste material they are keeping aside also. We have to remove all these things. See a lot of waste material also there. The stagnation of water also there. Some pots also there. And these are the important things. See, there's a lot of waste material. So plenty of larvae will be in that. The different types of the containers in that, they are seeing there's a number of water storages are there. Even a pinch of water also we can get a 150, 200 of eggs are there. So they are throwing that. This is the throwing of the water is very, very important. And this is a very, very dangerous. They keep like that only all the containers under the some. I think so. It's very, very important to remove all these waste material. It's very, very important. You see that last time we got in the September month, August month we got nearly 400 to 500 cases, and September we got 1500 of the dengue cases. See, these are the plenty of larvae is there. You can see that. So they are keeping that containers like that only. They don't throw the water. So one Aedes aegypti dengue must will fly up to off kilometers. So one in that row there is a 50 to 60 houses. Even one house is having that larva, it will pass the larva in all sides. So that is very important. Cleaning of all the houses. So that's why we are doing as per pinpoint program. We are covering every houses, and it is not possible to only the GHMC, as we are taking the community participation also very, very important. That's why we have taken under the KTR, Honorable Minister KTR sir introduced every Sunday 10 o'clock, 10 a.m., 10 minutes program. In each houses, all with family will clean our houses, and this is also very important remedy. And that is the 14th Sunday we started the program. We are having a lot of results. We are giving awareness on these how the stagnation water leads to the mosquito showing the community, and a lot of the examples we are showing. What are the things we are seeing in the houses? We will show lively to the community, and these are the things for the stagnation of the water, larva, and the stagnation of water. Where it will live. All these things we are showing to the community, and now they are having some change in the community. So it is very important. Now it is the peak stage. August and September is the very, very peak stage for the increasing of the dengue. One side we are getting the COVID, and other side we are getting up all the seasonal diseases. Particularly last time we got many epidemic outbreaks for the dengue, and most of the dengue only first. So for that we have to do a lot of efforts. So I am appreciating all the you people that you are giving training to the volunteers, and they will ultimately they will go into the community, and they will motivate the community. Most of the people they know all these things, but the thing is their busy life and not concentrating. They're very ambitious. They are not at all concentrating in their own houses. So that is very important, and I'm very much thankful that I'm very happy to be a part of your project to participating. And number of volunteers will in turn they will motivate thousands of the lakhs of the community to reduce this dengue and chikungunya, particularly malaria and other things. Normally, what we are doing is that this is the team of us only. Actually, what we are getting is the most problem of the city is the I already told that Musi River and Nalas and lakes. We are having the 180 lakes. In the lakes, we are having the water. I think will regenerate again and again that water hyacinth. So now we have started to remove that water hyacinth. We are also doing the drones. For you people, what can you do? Make the oil balls also. Take the cloth and that gonepatta, we call it, and take this lump of powder in it, and we'll tie with a knot, and we'll put it in all the balls in the one drum. We'll put a ML oil or waste oil. So we'll keep it for 48 to 72 hours, and we'll put the balls in all the drainage water. Any drainage water, any dirty water, the water immediately after putting that balls in the water, the rainbow layer will be formed. So the oxygen supply will cut to the larva and automatically dry. So these are the two methods, very easy for you people who are already going to the streets in the community. So that is very, very important. Another thing what we are doing is the fogging also we are doing. Fogging also it is not good for the health of the human, but the people are demanding to do the fogging. We are doing every day in the evening, we are doing fogging also. So, and what we are doing is the method of the positive cases. Every day we are getting the positive cases from U-Portal system every day. From all private hospital and government hospital, we are getting the positive cases. Immediately after getting the positive cases, we will send to the message to the our people. In the 1 crore population, we are having the 2,500. Everywhere is there. Immediately the positive, the message will go to the community. We'll do the as per pinpoint program. We'll visit all the houses. We'll see all the containers in the houses. We'll throw the water, put the larvicides, and these are the only larvicides. Another method is there, that is the adult sites. Adult sites is the pyrethrum spray. What pyrethrum spray is? 1 ml pyrethrum. We are adding the 19 ml of the diesel or kerosene. We are mixing, and that we will put into the power sprayer. So what it will help you. After getting this coming out, the larva is not dying with the larvicide, the mosquito will automatically come out, and it is biting the one dengue patient, and automatically the mosquito will be also infected. So mosquito will go and fly the and bite the man. So it is a man to mosquito man cycle is there. So by doing this pyrethrum spray, we will cut down the transmission of the this dengue. Immediately the infected mosquito will die. So that for that pyrethrum spray will do inside the houses. So that is also very, very important. One of the adult sites we are using. Another important thing we are using is the ritual spray. For the malaria cases also we are getting on and off also we are getting comparatively. We are getting malaria cases are very less, but we are taking the for this also indoor ritual spray. What is the indoor ritual spray? We are taking the alpha cypermethrin 5% is there. For that, we have to take 250 grams of the powder into 10 liters of the water. We will keep it, and we'll take this Knapsack Sprayer and stir up some. We will do spray inside the houses. That is called indoor ritual spray. So in the walls, it will spray inside the houses. Because of that, these mosquito will go and fly on that wall. It will die immediately. The effect will be up to 45 days. So that is the importance of the indoor ritual spray. Also, we are doing. And these are the common chemical, and another adult side is the fogging. Fogging will not be much important. Pyrethrum is very, very important. So these are the things we are doing in the GHMC side. This is very, very important to do all these things. And this is the peak stage this month and next. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Rambabu Garu. I think me participation is essential right through. మీరు లేకపోతే దిస్ విల్ నాట్ హ్యాపెన్. బట్ మేము అనుకున్నది ఏమిటంటే వీ విల్ టేక్ ఇట్ స్టెప్ బై స్టెప్, అంత ఒకసారి కాకుండా. సో అట్ ద మూమెంట్ లార్విసైడ్స్ మీరు చెప్పింది, కీపింగ్ ద హౌసెస్ క్లీన్ అండ్ ఈ అట్రాక్టివ్ షుగర్ బేట్స్ ఇవి కొంచెం స్టార్ట్ చేసి, ఇంప్రెగ్నేటెడ్ నెట్ స్టార్ట్ చేసి, దాని తర్వాత ఇండోర్ రెసిడ్యువల్ స్ప్రేస్కి స్లోలీ విల్ గ్రాడ్యుయేట్ టు దట్ ఓవర్ ఎ పీరియడ్ ఆఫ్ టైమ్. మీరు సరిగ్గా టైంకి వచ్చారు సార్, ఎందుకంటే మీరు చెప్పిన ఆగస్ట్ సెప్టెంబర్. సో వీ వాంట్ ఇండిపెండెన్స్ ఫ్రమ్ ద మాస్కిటో మెనస్ ఆన్ our 74th ఇండిపెండెన్స్ డే. సో దిస్ ఇస్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ దట్. చాలా చాలా థ్యాంక్స్ అండి. సమీక్ష, ఓవర్ టు యూ.
Thank you very much. And we are so enthusiastic and encouraged by your participation, because your coming here makes us trust that the government is working so much. And it also gives us the message while seeing your video. I felt that it is more in my house and around my house. And from our side, expecting that GHMC should come and check my house for those water collections, I guess it is too much of a burden on our government. And if it is my health, it has to be my responsibility to keep my house, my vicinity clean. And few points I wanted to observe, and I also want you to observe. I don't know how many of you noticed how Dr. Babu was dressed, right? You must have seen that he was wearing the mask. He was wearing full sleeves shirts. He was wearing full length pants and gloves. He was fully covered. So that's what is something which everyone should notice, that when you are going out for such activity, you have to take measures of self-protection. And he was protected against any airborne infection, any waterborne infection, even for that matter, any mosquito bites, just because he was wearing all the protective gear. In addition to it, you could also spray some insecticide on the ends of your clothes, so that if at all there are any mosquito which try to enter and bite you, that is prevented. That's one point I wanted all to note. Second point, I want to emphasize on that the Stemiforous spraying is required every 7 days, every week. So what Telangana's motto is that 10 a.m., 10 minutes for next 10 weeks. That's what they have been asking for, especially in the month August and September. And the activity is just not a one-time activity that you clean your water utensils or drain them out. It has to be done every week. First, we should not allow that such kind of garbage is collected and the water is collected. And if at all there is such kind of collection, we have to clean it. One more point I want to emphasize on what Dr. Babu said, especially about draining of water. He said that we need to scrub our utensils. All of us tend to forget that. We just drain them and just keep them aside. He made a very important point that eggs in that utensil can stay alive for a 1 year period. And whenever they get water again, they can go into larvae. So that was another point which I wanted to just reiterate, because in many of the messages, we tend to miss that. And Gambusia fish, that fish is safe. So the residential welfare associations where you have fountains, where you have such kind of collection, where you want it to be safer, further safer, as Sir said, you can reach out to GHMC for getting and purchasing those fish. So thank you very much, sir. We have got very important points. And first of all, the important point is keep yourself safe and keep your house safe, and support GHMC in doing their activities for dengue control. Thank you. With this, let's go on to the next activity and action. So I would invite Dr. Rajan Shukla to talk about and show us how to use attractive sugar baits. This is new. This is not being promoted by GHMC so far, but it is very effective. And Dr. Rajan Shukla uses it himself in his house. So it is coming from the person who has experience of it. And he's so happy that mosquitoes don't bite him anymore. So this would be...
it is like just one thing. Dr. Rajan, like you say, from the horse's mouth. Dr. Rajan is also tall, gracious horse, and he can share from the horse's mouth.
Right. So over to you, Dr. Rajan.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So while I share the video, what I've done is, because to save time, I've shot a video and shown it. So what I'm going to do is prepare a 2% boric acid attractive toxic sugar bait using guava juice. Guava juice has been found to be the most attractive, especially for Aedes mosquito. And I'll just share the video and then we can take the questions after that. Yeah. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate how to make attractive toxic sugar bait using guava juice and boric acid. What I have here is some hot water. I'm going to take around 200 ml of hot water. I'm taking hot water so that it is easier for me to mix the boric acid. So I'm taking around 200 ml of hot water. and I'm mixing 3. So I have boric acid here, and I'm going to mix 3 teaspoons. Yes. So I have 3 teaspoons, and I'm just going to not heap it full, just flatten it out. So 1, 2, and 3. Why I'm taking 3 teaspoons? Each teaspoon of boric acid is around 7 grams, 7.2 grams of boric acid, and we want a 2% boric acid guava solution. So what I'm doing is I've taken 200 ml and taken 3 spoons, that is around 21 milligrams, 21 grams, and I'm just, because it's hot, it allows me to dissolve it much faster. Yeah, so now you can see that the boric acid is all dissolved. See, it takes some time. I have cut the video here. There might be some lump, but this, in the end, when we put it in the bottle and shake it up, we should be able to dissolve everything. So I have this dissolved. What I'm going to do is I'm taking a 1 liter, 1.25 liter, but around 1 liter bottle. I'm keeping some space on top so that I can shake it up, and I'm going to pour the boric acid solution into this bottle. The 200 ml of water in that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take, so here you have guava juice. You can buy any guava juice. If you don't have guava juice, you can cut guava pieces and put them in. So I have guava juice, and I'm going to put around till this level so that I make around a liter of the maybe I can do away with the funnel. So you can see now I have around a liter. I have very little remaining here. So I have around a liter of this. I close that up and give it a good shake. In the meantime, what I've done is I have taken these bottles and cut holes into it such that 2 fingers can go in, and this big hole is required for the free entry of mosquito going in and out. So we need it for that. And how I've done that is I have a sharp cutter here, and I've used that to make this. So you can see nice big hole for 2 fingers to go in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shake it once more so that it is evenly mixed, and I'm going to take this and pour it into each of the bottle, around 200 ml in each. 100-250 ml in each of them, and my attractive toxic sugar bait is ready. So you see, I have now 4 bottles. These 4 bottles, I'm going to take them and place them around the house, especially in the dark corners, in the corridors, where you expect the mosquitoes to be resting. And what you need to do is every day just shake this bottle once. It allows the guava smell to go out and attract mosquitoes. So every day you can shake this bottle once, and once you have made it, it is good for around 2 weeks. Then you can dump it and make again after 2 weeks. So thank you. I hope now you are all able to make an attractive toxic sugar bait with 2% boric acid and 2% boric acid guava juice. Yeah. So this was just a simple way. What I want to emphasize here is you won't see any mosquito killed inside the bottle. You might see some mosquitoes coming there to feed. The hole is meant so that the mosquitoes can freely come in and out. Boric acid is a stomach poison. So once mosquito ingest it, they will die in around 8 to 12 hours after ingesting it. Some may take even 24 hours to 48 hours to die, but most of them will die. So don't expect that you will see mosquitoes, dead mosquitoes in that trap. There might be 1 or 2 which might die over there while they are resting over there. But it is meant for them to come in and out. And then when you mop the house, you might find dead mosquitoes here and there. So, yeah. Samiksha?
Dr. Rajan,
Yes.
I think you need to tell where to put these sugar toxic baits.
Yeah, so as I was saying in the video, let me just expand on that. What we need to do is put the toxic sugar bait in areas, for example, from where you are expecting the mosquitoes to enter, where you expect the mosquitoes to be resting, dark corners, in the houses, under the table somewhere, in the corridors, in the balcony. Usually what happens is if you put it in the same room as you are staying, your blood is always more tastier to mosquito than the sugar bait. So they will bite you and then they might go and rest and want a sugar feed and may die. But and you will start seeing the effect gradually. It is not that you put it today and it just starts happening from tomorrow. No, you'll start seeing it. I've been now using it for 2 weeks and now I don't see any mosquito. Even if I'm not running a fan in my house, windows are open, there are no mosquito bites. So that's the pleasure you get after doing it for 2 weeks.
Right. Raj, thank you, Rajan. I have a question for out of my curiosity. Why only guava juice? Can we have any other juice? And we have also heard that it also creates some smell. Then how to deal with it? Can you just add a little more on this? Because I'm sure people want to know this.
Yeah, so guava is one sort of fruit which people like or they don't like. There is no in between. It's like jackfruit. Jackfruit is another fruit where people like or they don't like. A very strong smell. But unfortunately, this is the smell which studies have shown that Aedes is attracted to the most among the fruit juice. There are other pheromones and other things which can be used, but then those are not readily available. So what we are looking at it is whatever we can readily access and use. And as Samiksha said, sometimes that smell, especially after 3 days, 4 days, the smell might become strong. So what I do is I tend to then move them out in the corridor or next to the bathroom windows, from where the mosquitoes can come in, or in the balcony, and keep them there. But what we need is something that is effective. And at least I have found it working. There are documents, there are studies which have shown it works. And Aedes being a very small distance flyer, these can be very good if they're put in and around house to kill Aedes. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Rajan.
Samiksha, just one more thing. You can also add a drop of jasmine and other essence oil. Don't use citronella or lemongrass because these are repellent. Use jasmine, something which is indifferent to mosquito, and that can also help in controlling the smell. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. I was about to ask that question. Thank you very much. So just few points. Again, I'm re-emphasizing it's a homemade thing. Boric acid is a little toxic. So wherever you keep it a little far from the children in the house, and in the areas, dark areas or corridor corners outside the building or behind the building where you can keep them and where you suspect mosquito breeding. Next is that this, Rajan mentioned it, but must have been lost in the large video, that this solution can very well last you till 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, you can change and you can make a new solution, fill these bottles with new, fresh toxic sugar bait, and then reuse these bottles. It's a very good way of also reusing the plastic bottles rather than disposing them in the dump. So it's very attractive. You can also, if you do not want to use fruit juice, Rajan would agree, as he also mentioned, that if you do not want to use a juice, you can use the fresh fruit, cut the fresh fruit and put it in the bottle, add some water and boric acid. So that will also work. The fruit will ferment itself in a few days, and it will still attract mosquitoes because of its fragrance. So those are the options.
Yeah,
and,
one more
I'm
point.
Sure you will.
Yeah, one more point I would emphasize is, if we make the concentration of boric acid higher, then the smell of boric acid will repel the mosquito. So that's why we would want it to remain between 1 to 2%. Less than 1% is not very effective. 2% is optimal, but again, we are not in a lab, we are at home. So the measure which I have shown is around 5 ml of boric acid is around 7 grams, 7.2 grams. So that's what I have used. So 3 teaspoons makes it around 21 grams, and that works fine with 1.1 liter water bottle. Yeah.
Samiksha and Rajan, I think one of the issues is about whether boric acid is toxic. So some people have raised that. So I think 2% is far below the toxic level for humans because children may accidentally ingest it if it is at home. Carom boards, many of us play carom boards. Boric acid is the carom board powder, and it's a very safe. It doesn't normally have any allergic reactions also. So I think emphasizing that about its toxicity to humans in a 2% concentration, I think is important, Dr. Raj.
Yes, sir. So 2% is not at all toxic. I mean, so
it is safe.
It is very, very safe. Yeah.
Thank you for correcting me there. And it is a very important message that at 2% it is not toxic to humans. Thank you for that. Now we have to move ahead. In this fortnight, we are introducing 2 activities which we have already showed, the Temifos. Then we have also talked about attractive sugar baits. We would also encourage for participants, volunteers going forwards to identify larvae. They don't have to worry about what mosquito larvae they are, but to identify larvae the way Dr. Ram Babu was showing, put them on white background, take photographs and upload. Because going forwards, we would like to keep a track of how much and how many spots we could identify larvae as. Similarly, once you start using these techniques, you can yourself observe in terms of mosquito bites, how much they are biting you, and can you see the difference in the two. We will come to these 2 again in the next webinar, and we'll tell you how to do this, how to keep, how to monitor this, and know it for yourself if these steps are working or not. Just letting you all know that will be also important part for your own learning and keeping a track of things what are happening. Third thing which we want to introduce here for this fortnight is the use of GHMC app. You have seen so far that GHMC is closely supporting us. They are committed to support us whenever there is any kind of big complaint, which is where we need their engagement and their support. And GHMC app is a wonderful way of reporting your complaints and raising your concerns, and that would be responded by GHMC. So I would request Dr. Rambabu to just introduce that a little bit, and then Dr. Rajan to play a video and show us where the app is available and how that can be used. So over to you, Dr. Rambabu, if you can just suggest.
Thank you, madam. That first we will go to the Google site, type my GHMC app first. Second, click the my GHMC app and download the app. After download and registered name. So next to the phone enter, OTP will come, then automatically it will be registered. That is the procedure.
So how have you been able to use it and respond to the queries? Do you think it is useful for you and as well as the residents?
It will be useful for everybody because we can see every day the app and we'll see what are the complaints we are receiving, and immediately we'll attend them. Everybody will download it and can use it.
Right. Rajan, would you like to run the video quickly?
Yeah, it's a small video around 4 minutes, and let me just run it. Yeah, so you can see I'm going to my Play Store here. And once I go into the Play Store, as Dr. Rambabu said, you can then type my GHMC app. This is Android, and you know how to access it in an Apple phone also. So you see my GHMC, and my GHMC pops up immediately. I search for it, and right on top is my GHMC app from the Center of Good Governance, Hyderabad. Once I select it, because I have it already installed, so it stays open. For you, it will show install, and you can install it. Once you open it, this is how it will come. The first time it will ask you to register, so it will send an OTP, and you will have to enter the OTP to register. Once you register, you can actually go and take a mosquito quiz. There I have already taken that quiz, and I scored around 16 out of 17. So yeah, so nobody is perfect. Though here it marked me wrong for throwing plastic waste material into drain and tank causes water stagnation and mosquito breeding, which I think I'm right. But anyway, so this is the mosquito quiz. Then you can go back and just waiting for it to go back. Yeah, so you can go back and go into the grievances tab. So once you click the grievances, you can see the entomology tab here, and then you can, your name will show, and then you can select what you need. So I have selected mosquito maintenance in the locality, which is where if you have a neighborhood stagnation, ponds, anything, you can give a landmark. You can use your current location. So app automatically uses your current location, or you can locate on the map. I'll show that later. So I typed Aparna Sarovar, and then you have to give a description. So I said stagnant water with the larvae breeding, mosquito larvae breeding. And then you can upload a picture using the camera here. So it allows you all these options. You can take a photograph, or if you have taken a photograph earlier, you can choose a document and photos from your earlier shots and upload them. So you can see my now camera has a lot of shots of mosquito breeding places. So I've just uploaded one of those photographs. And once you do that, then it raises a complaint number. So once I submit, you click on the submit here. and it raises a complaint ID and gives you a number. This number also reaches you by SMS. Now, unfortunately, if you go and check back into the grievances and look at your pending grievances, it might not show you any grievance, because I think um, that so here I've shown you how to use a map to locate, put a location, and if you go and check into the grievances, it says no grievance registered, but that is fine because you still get your SMS with an ID number, complaint ID number. I'll show you the SMS I got yesterday, and this was just within 5 minutes of doing that, and it says, Swachh Namaskaram, we regret the inconvenience caused. Your issue will be resolved shortly. Reference ID so and so, team GHMC. This reference ID, this SMS, then you can forward it to us, and we can also coordinate with the control room can coordinate with the GHMC, the circle entomologist, and work with them to resolve the issue that you have raised. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Any doubts, any questions we can take on this?
Thank you, Dr. Rajan. I guess it was very straightforward and easy to understand. And people, once they use it, they will know it more. We'll move on to the next session because we are running short of time. Quickly, I'll invite Joshua to show how the kit is. And I guess he has photographs and he will be able to show what the components we are sharing and distributing to the volunteers. Joshua, over to you. Another information while Joshua comes on, that with the volunteers, we'll share that control room numbers very soon in our Telegram group. And the volunteers can reach out to us for more information if they may need to understand in further detail what and how these products have to be used. So Joshua, over to you.
Chaitanya will have to give screen sharing option to Joshua.
And the number would actually be a WhatsApp number. So if you send us a WhatsApp message, it will also create a record with us rather than calling, and we will follow it up and give you feedback on what is happening. So for example, if we have coordinated with GHMC, we'll let you know that we have coordinated with GHMC, and you might get a call from GHMC or any other thing if any other effort is required. Yeah, Joshua, over to you.
Hi, I'm just waiting for screen sharing privileges. While that's getting done, I want to thank all our volunteers for signing up. And as Sauri mentioned earlier, please do enroll other families who are interested in your RWA for the program. As part of our, it's working now. Right. All right, as part of our first phase, we were able to source the following items for the volunteers that were in our facility so they can get access to it. We will be ensuring that everybody who has registered...
Joshua, can you go to screen the slideshow, please? Because it's not coming out in big letter. Just go to slideshow. Yeah.
All right. All right, so for the initial phase, what you will see is you will see an amber and orange colored volunteer's jacket, which we have given, as you would have seen Dr. Rambabu also wearing it. We suggest you wear it on top of your long sleeve bright clothing before you go out. The other item, which is the most important, we need to take safety precautions before we step out of the house. We all remember the SMS, which is the sanitizer, the mask, and ensuring social distancing. So we have a sanitizer included. There is a bucket and a mug, as you'd have seen Dr. Rambabu do. He mixed the Temifos solution in the bucket that can have 10 liters of water, and then use the mug to transfer that onto a bottle or any other dispensing method that you prefer and that you'd have at home. There is a small amber colored bottle which has Temifos, 100 ml of Temifos, along with a 5 ml measuring cup for you to filter it out and for you to deploy it. There's Odomos lotion, as Dr. Samiksha had mentioned. Please ensure you apply Odomos on your on the external parts of your body, as well as the tips of your clothing, to ensure you repel any mosquitoes that might be there. We've given reusable gloves that you can use when you go out to perform these activities. There is a larvae documentation kit, which consists of a transparent PVC sheet along with a white paper behind it. You can use it to take photographs of your mosquitoes that and the larvae that you filter. The long-handled strainer that you see is for you to easily access some the water stagnation areas to check if there are larvae in it. So you can use that, filter it out, put it on the PVC sheet, and photograph them and put them in the group. In aligned with what Dr. Rajan had shared about the attractive toxic sugar baits, we provided boric acid powder so that you guys can get right to it after this event and prepare the toxic sugar baits. We are also planned to procure siphon pumps to help you remove stagnant water that are in difficult to reach solutions, that is difficult to reach locations, as well as insecticide nets in the next phase. So after the event is done, I will share a link to register. Those of you who have not got your kits, please do register. We will ensure you get it within this week. Also wanted to take this time to thank our SEM team, Mr. Avinash Talwar and Tarun Kishore, who enabled us to get this in a quick turnaround time. So that is, these are the elements of the kit. And I hope we have a good Sunday, if the weather permits, for us to go out and do these activities this week. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Samiksha.
Thank you, Joshua. Thank you very much. And this was very useful. And with this, I also invite other volunteers to come up and register for the kit, as well as we have mentioned that the program is initial phase of the program is being supported by volunteers from DRL and IIPH Hyderabad. So we also encourage that in their residential colonies, other 4 or 5 volunteers from that colony can be identified. And once we identify, we shall be able to share this kit with the other pool of volunteers as well. And together, then 4 or 5 people together can work around their house and around their colony. So please join the Telegram group, which we have been talking about, and we keep sharing the link of it in the chat. You can go to Project NOFEVER once you join Telegram and you will be able to join that group. So I'll be quickly just emphasizing on the key points because I don't want to take too much time here. And these are the activities we want you all to continue doing and for next 2 weeks and for times to come. You all know who have heard our webinars earlier that every fortnight we are adding few activities. So, but the point here to note is that the previous activities also continue. They all together increase the impact of the control measures. So as we go ahead, just want you to take 30 seconds to read this and just assess for yourself what is your level of protection against dengue. I'll just read them out loud. Level 0, you are exposed to mosquito bites during day and at night for malaria. Level 1, you are personally safe by using personal protection measures, like you wear full sleeves, you wear light colored clothing, you spray insecticides on end of your sleeves or exposed areas so that you do not get bit when you step out, and you keep safe inside the home also by using the level 2 is that your home is safe, there is no water stagnation, you use insecticide coils or vaporizers or other mechanism like ATSB to control ADs, you keep your doors closed, that is level 2. Level 3 is you keep your residential colony safe. Level 4 is that you even go beyond your residential colony and try to make up to 200 meters area of your residential colony. If you can extend it to 500 meters, even better, safe and free from ADs. So this is the chart and this is the grade we should keep asking ourselves every time, and we have to progress to next level each time as we go on in this project. So what do we need to do about it? We are repeatedly saying there are 7 simple steps every 7th day that you have to do, and we will encourage you continue doing that for 7 months to have a greater impact and have a safer next season, much more safer than what we are exposed to today. And hopefully we will not also have to face COVID in the next season, hopefully. So the points in these 7 tasks are basically, I've different just group them into do it yourself and do it together. Do it yourself, what you can do by yourself, by your family, with your family, and in your home. But the moment you step out in your colony, you need to communicate to a more number of people and work in the RWA premises along with other volunteers. So just quickly listing out what you are supposed to do yourself. Most of this is re-emphasizing of what we have told earlier. Before you get onto that, please take all the preventive measures. Project No Fever is not just about controlling dengue. It is about not getting sick at all of any fever. Wear mask, wear your gloves, wear full clothing, take all hygiene measures, and also look for mosquito control. So do that, share the knowledge with everyone. Check your house and surroundings for breeding sites. Drain all the water, scrub clean all the containers. Spray Temifos wherever you cannot drain the water out. Remember, you have to repeat this activity every 7 days. The cycle of the mosquito from egg to larvae to adult takes usually 7 days. So if you manage to break that cycle even once in 7 days, you are not allowing larvae to become adults, and you are not letting the adult population grow. So that's a rationale behind 7 days. We have to be careful. You saw those videos. We just throw our waste and collect our waste so irresponsibly. Please emphasize on how you throw your waste. Dispose it off regularly, and whenever you're throwing bottles, please close the lids and then throw in the general waste, or collect all such kind of potential waste into bags, tie it tightly so that mosquitoes cannot go inside and lay eggs there, and then throw it in the general waste or the general dumping area. Prevent entry of mosquitoes, use window meshes, use door meshes, keep your doors and windows closed, use mosquito repellents during day and night, both. Aedes mosquito bites during day. Use toxic sugar baits, as you saw. Some of you were asking, if we do not have mosquitoes in our house, should we still use them inside the house? It's good if you do not have mosquitoes in your house, maybe you are using mosquito repellents, but we will encourage that you use these in balconies, in corridor ends, in entrance of your buildings, behind your buildings. There are a lot of potential mosquito breeding areas where the mosquitoes can breed. You may not have mosquitoes today in your house, but they can enter your house. Don't think that you are at the 10th floor or the 14th floor, mosquito will not come there. Mosquitoes can come along with the lifts in your bag, in your other kind of material that you may carry. So you may feel safe today, but if you feel your house is safe, I guess you need to progress to level 3 now. Try to make your RWA safe. Stay protected when stepping out. We have emphasized it again. You saw Dr. Ram Babu doing it. Please follow his footsteps. He was very well protected when he stepped out. Don't be scared that it is COVID and we should not step out. You need to realize that this is COVID times. You are prone to fever, and any fever today can be confused to be COVID. It can bring stress to you. That's why we are emphasizing that you have to protect yourself from any fever. If you take right protective measures, even when you step out, the risk is lesser compared to when you do not do anything and you get sick of dengue, and then you have to rush to hospitals and for treatment, spend money and a lot of other things. Here, I also want to mention that in case you get fever, please reach out to our volunteers. We might be able to guide you where to go. Dr. Bharat will join us, our panel, and in coming webinars, you will see how we are planning to support you all for any fever and direct you in what you should be doing at your home level and when to go to the hospital or to go to the doctor. Just takeaway is just inform and get a teleconsultation soon so that you know what you are supposed to do. So don't be afraid of it, just be more informed. So that is individually what you can do, but that individually doing will just bring you to level 2. If you want to make it safer, we have to have community participation. Coronavirus prevention, dengue virus prevention, waterborne disease virus prevention, there are certain such diseases where it is the community which has a larger role to play than the governments coming to your house. So you have realized by now that for COVID prevention, we have to take a lot of measures, not just in my house, in my residential area. Dengue is also one such disease that government may want to help you a lot, but unless you take responsibility of it, you will not be able to save yourself completely. Unlike malaria mosquito, which spreads in larger spaces and a lot of outdoor spraying and outdoor measures can control the mosquito, this one is more indoors. So here, that's why we call for community participation, and not just during this project. It has to be a behavior change for a long term. So please, whoever is listening to this webinar, educate and engage as many residents and neighbors and friends, as many you can. We encourage that you form NOFEVER teams, which will be constituting of the volunteers from your area, whom we can directly support so that they can support all other residents. We are launching a certification for volunteering for students. This is specifically for students, and we have seen, and it's the evidence from across the world, that students, if they take leadership in keeping things safe and identifying where the breedings are happening, it has been very effective. And so these kind of volunteer programs and certification also help students to get an edge in admissions, especially in international universities and big universities. They give a lot of value to such kind of volunteering work. So we will lay down a program for volunteering. We right now call for support, and if your children, if any students, we would advise children between 8 to 12 standards who would like to volunteer. And if they follow the program and the instructions, and there'll also be frequent checks into their work. So by the end of 6 months, by the end of this project, we will release and we'll provide them certificates after satisfactory completion of volunteerism. So that's an incentive which can be there for the residents. We'll share the details as we start getting the list of and participation details. But by the next webinar, we will launch it much more officially and give you access to how to register on that portal. Share your experiences, what you do yourself with all the residents and the friends, because that is the way they will start getting motivated. It's a slow process. Don't get disheartened. Spread the information. Even if not everybody joins you in one go, but the moment you start doing activities and those activities will be visible and they will see the effect of those activities, they will also start doing it themselves. So what we are distributing to the volunteers, the Temifos and the methods, boric acid and the methods to prepare sugar beets. And we encourage them, they use it in their house, their surroundings, as well as in their RWA areas outside their buildings. You will see the change. So Temifos have to be sprayed every week, and sugar beets can be replaced every 2 weeks. So the timeline of these two things is important. So keep a track of it. You can train your housekeeping staff, your security staff also to keep a watch on these things, especially the sugar beets, as we need to shake it once every day and just keep a check on how they are being used. You together can drive collection of waste drives and encourage residents to throw the waste properly. We are suggesting you to use GHMC app, and Rajan has already talked about it. We'll try to support you in your grievances and the concerns you have raised to follow it up. And we encourage that residents keep safe of any fever, right? We talk about dengue because dengue is amongst the most common mosquito-borne fevers in this season, and we tend to ignore the mosquito-borne infections mostly. By you see that you are already taking a lot of steps to prevent yourself from airborne, waterborne, and foodborne infections. It's time that we also focus on mosquito-borne infections. So lastly, again saying that dengue control can be brought to success only by the community's ownership and community's participation. Be it slow, but it should be sustained and for longer time to come. The more participation we see from you all, the more we will be able to support you and add newer techniques of controlling mosquito. There are a lot of new techniques which can be added, like we can start distributing fish or in going future, in long term, the GHMCs are also considering that we may have genetically engineered mosquitoes that can be brought in and distributed. But this is a long relationship, a long engagement, and we have to go from level 0 to level 4 slowly. So that's what we call for. Let's start from our indoors and our colony, and we'll support you to take it further. So it's the same message, simple 7 steps every 7th day for 7 months. Thank you. Now, I would call our panelist. I'm happy that Dr. Ram Babu is still with us. And thank you very much, sir, for staying with us for so long. So I invite you as a panelist for the question answer rounds. I also introduce you to Dr. Bharat Sharma. He has been taking care of and will soon introduce algorithms and methods and what you should be doing in case you get any fever during this time. So if you may have questions related to fever, you can direct it to Dr. Bharat. And Dr. Rajan, you have already heard, he's there to answer, and I'm also there. Apart from this, we also have other experts. Depending on your questions, I'll invite other experts from IAPH team, Dr. GVS Murthy, Dr. Jairam, and DRL team, Dr. Karunakar Reddy, Ms. Shori, Mr. Shori, if you may have any specific questions. So I open it for the forum. Please feel free to ask questions. You can raise your hands and then we can allow you to speak and say your question. While you take time to raise hands, maybe we can...
Samiksha, there are some questions on the chat. I think we can take those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so I'll do that. So there have been a few questions in the question and answer and the chat, although we have answered them, but we can take them again for others' benefit. Like there's one question, Dr. Bharat, maybe you can answer this. Is the person who got infected with dengue once would have immunity for life, or they are less likely to suffer from the same? So can you just answer this? Dr.
Yes,
Bharat.
Dr. Samiksha, as you've mentioned, there are 4 subtypes of viruses in dengue, and infection with one of them does not necessarily protect us from the other subtypes. In fact, sometimes it has been seen that the change in immune response can make us more susceptible to complications the second time around. So it is best that we follow these precautions and the measures that you've recommended and demonstrated to ensure that we protect ourselves against the infection. Thank you.
Right. There's also a clinical question. It has been asked if you can briefly address it. It may be related to maybe dengue diagnosis, but it just says what is the difference between antigen G, antigen IgG or IgM. Maybe just briefly on what the dengue test is available. Yeah. And
yes, I think this question was raised on YouTube, asking what is NS1, IgG, and IgM. So these are various proteins that appear in our blood samples after we get an infection. So 7 days, 5 to 7 days after a mosquito bite, typically a person would develop fever, at which time the first protein that we can detect is the NSP, non-structural protein 1, which is present in blood for the first 5 to 6 days. So this is the earliest indicator of a person having dengue infection, which can be detected through a rapid diagnostic kit in a clinic. Over the next couple of days, around day 5, going forwards to the next 2-3 months, we'll have IgM in our blood. Generally, the best time to detect those levels may be around day 9 to day 14 of the infection. Going forwards, the body produces long-term antibodies, which are called IgG, and these can be detected in the blood for a longer time. So if you have IgG in the blood earlier than expected in a case of the dengue infection, that means that probably we've been exposed to it earlier and this is the second infection. So this is how these different proteins can be used to guide diagnosis. Thank you.
Yeah, Bharat, if I just might add, uh, NS1 is probably the fastest to diagnose, but it is very non-specific. It doesn't tell you which strain you have been infected with. And as you said, IgG, if it is present earlier, it means you have had an infection earlier. So NS1 will be done first, and then if they want to know which strain and whether it is subsequent infection, they will be doing the other test.
Yes, doctor, that's correct.
Right. I have
It's a
a hand
mixture.
raised. Yes, sir.
Yeah, just 2 points because I'm looking at the chat box. 2 points that I would like to make. One is there was a question about whether coconut oil is a repellent. What Dr. Rambabu had mentioned was that any oil, and that's when he talked about coconut oil, is when you spread it, when you mix it to water, it spreads on the top and therefore does not allow the larvae to breathe. So therefore effectively killing them. But on an individual, the only oils which are going to be effective are those which have that aroma, which is why Dr. Rajan mentioned about citronella oil. But oils which do not dry up and have oily film, they do not act as repellent. Sometimes, in fact, you can see that when you have a lot of hair oil applied, you can find mosquitoes coming very close and trying to sit on your head. So oil, any hair oil, including coconut oil, does not help in that. The second point that I would like to add, especially when we are in the monsoon season, is when you put these sugar baits outside, do not keep them out in the open where the rainwater may fall in those and dilute or spill out from the traps whatever is inside the guava juice and boric acid. So don't keep it in the open where rainwater can splash in and disturb the concentration and also allow it to splash. Keep it in a covered area, in a dark area like Dr. Rajan mentioned, so that they get attracted to it by the guava smell, and the boric acid that they ingest from that kills them. But if you keep it outside, then those things, those dynamics happening would be lost. So these are 2 points I wanted to just add, Samiksha.
Right. Thank you very much, sir. I see a hand raised from Mr. Vasant. Mr. Vasant, I'll come back to you just in a minute. I'll take one question with Dr. Ram Babu, then come to you and give you an opportunity to ask your question. So, Dr. Ram Babu, there have been several questions regarding use of Temifos for open drains or open pools or ponds around or fountains. Or there was also a question that a neighbor's house is closed or there's an open plot there and there can be water collection during rains at that moment of time. So will Temifos work or there's other ways to deal with it?
I already discussed that. One is the Temifos we can be used as a multi-level. We can in the open plant we can use or whatever the storage of water we can use. The water content is more dirty, then we can use the oil balls. It will act on that. These are the two measures. One is for the dirty water, one is the fresh water. Fresh water is for the Temifos. And already discussed of the larvicide. That coconut oil also it is act as a larvicide. We have seen in the tribal areas also. Why I am telling of the using of the coconut larvicide? Some of the people using the water inside the containers. So if you use the Temifos, it will become as a smell will come. Use the 1 or 2 drops of the coconut oil in the water containers. It will just the larva will die as the.
Right.
So it will be practically we have seen.
Right. Thank you very much, sir. So please, I want all the audience to note that Temifos in general is safe. It is safe for aquatic life, as well as if your pets wander around. It's only because of the smell and you are storing water in underground water or your containers that some people may not want to use it. In that case, you can use coconut oil, and that coconut oil forms a layer above water and does not allow the larvae to come up and breathe, and that's the way larvae gets killed. Sir clearly mentioned that Temifos is better for fresh water and for dirty water. Sir mentioned oil balls. Sir, I'm just taking cue from you. So we should be able to purchase them through GHMC or some other sites. That's important information. We'll get this information and share with our all volunteers and on our Telegram group. If you have to use oil balls in dirty, open drains or dirty water collection, how and where you can access that. You can also use Temifos higher concentration for such long-standing water, but we'll share the details with you soon. Thank you very much, sir, regarding this information. So I'll come to Mr. Basant. I'm allowing you to talk now. You can ask your question directly, and if you want to name any panelists whom you want to direct your question, please go ahead.
Thank you, Samiksha. My question is general to the panelists. I'm having three different categories of questions. Most of them already discussed, just want to re-emphasize or more clarity on these points. First is on Temifos, as we are getting sense that it is safer. And in our apartments, we are having water storage tanker. That water we are using in our RO system and we are drinking it. So as we are listening that it is safe, so can we continue to use those Temifos in those water tanks first? Second, in the same question, those water tanks, we are having some capacity, maybe 500 liters, 1,000 liters, or some specific definite capacity we are having. So how much specific quantity of Temifos we should use so that there should not be any toxic effect, or maybe there should not be any harm. And if we can have any charter on this, so that would be better for us to for a reference in the future. My second question is related to the oil balls that we got some sense, but maybe I missed some of the part of it. So if we can have again a charter of this, so that we in a society or can get educate from those presentations or maybe those charter. That will, again, we can use as a reference to make those balls. And also, we heard that these coconut oils, we can use it to spread. But in cold season, would it be okay to use like to prevent this mosquito breeding or not? And it would be better if we can just list down few oils and not to leave on us that which oil we should use. If we can just categorize, because as far as we can understand, all oils will not make the film uniform, means some definite quantity is required actually. So like kerosene, it's easily spread and detect the contact between the air and the water. So like that, whether coconut oil and other oils, if we are having a list, so if we can have those lists documented, that would be better. And the third one is regarding the sugar beds. So can we drain it in the open, or do we have any special drainage or discard procedure for this? Thank you.
Thank you. There are three questions. One of them I'll take up. We have on behalf of the Project NOFEVER team. That is that you need some directives on how to do it. So that's in the process. That has been already developed. They are in the form of presentation and will be soon converted as a guideline and will be there with you maybe in a couple of days' time. So it will give you how to prepare and which oils to use. It will also give you options of natural oils and where you can purchase them if you wish to. So I'll just leave it there from the Project NOFEVER time for the details. We'll not be able to list all those oils here, but you will get those details soon after this webinar. I'll just direct your first question to Dr. Rambabu. Dr. Rambabu, he again had issue of Temifos. If we are using that in overhead tanks, is it safe to drink that water? And how much Temifos to put in a 200 ml water tank or a 500 ml water tank? Sir.
One thing we have to find out when we are searching up the water tanks. So first we have to find any larva inside is there. That is the number one, first point. The larva is there, then we can drop diluted. That water, 2 or 3 drops is enough in that water. Larva is there. It is a stagnated water. Otherwise, it is a fresh water. No need to put Temifos. So we have to observe that's why we are taking the ladder and take the water, and we have to test it whether is a larva is there, something is there, we have to find out. And another thing is we have to put the caps of that overhead tanks. That is important. And that is so he is asking of that 5 ml 10 liters water. I don't know the dilution of one bottle. I told in 10 liters water we'll get the 10 bottles. In the 10 bottles will drop a 1 or 2 drops. That means 1 ml or 2 ml. That's enough for the overhead tanks of the 500 ml or 1000 liters.
Right. So what Sir is trying to say is that Temiphos again forms a layer on the water. So it also depends on the surface area rather than the volume of the water body that you are talking about.
Actually, Timophos will not form the layer. Or where there is a coconut oil and other oils, they will form a layer. Where this Timophos just will go into the inside, it will kill the larva.
Yes.
Just we have seen the
right.
Yeah. So Samiksha, the point there is that if it's an overhead cistern, it is running water. The water collects for a period of time, and in 4, 5, 10 hours, getting distributed into the houses. So the risk, like Dr. Rambabu Garu is saying, the risk in that is minimal. And that is why checking if there are any larvae and then trying to add something would be beneficial. And that point Dr. Rambabu Garu made is very critical. Check if there is any breeding. If it is running water, the risk is very, very low. And therefore, you may not need to add to that. It is more to do with water stagnating. And that is something which we have to keep in mind.
And more problem in sumps than in overhead tanks, because sumps might have water collection which might not drain completely, and there might be some larvae breeding there happening.
Right. Thank you. Rajan, now the third point is question is pointed towards you. How to dispose of this sugar-baked solution or bottle after 2 weeks of use?
So you can actually throw it off, but what I do is I sprinkle it over green vegetations. I don't let it just go off like that. When I have to dispose it off, I find out green vegetation around, take that bottle and just sprinkle it on the green vegetation and let it be. If it rains, it will wash off. But if it doesn't rain, then it is still acting as an attractive sugar bait. It doesn't work on a flowery plant because flower have much more powerful essence and attraction than my poor attractive sugar bait. But in green vegetation, it does work, and that is how I dispose it off. It is safe. You can just dispose it and dump it off. There is no harm in dumping it off.
Right. Thank you. That is important, and it was an intelligent question. Thank you, Mr. Basant. I'll take up next question. There is a question which is being asked. I guess Dr. Murthy can answer that. It's a very general question, but coming from your mouth, it will be easier. So they're saying that they keep their society very spick and span, very clean, everything clean, but they still have a lot of mosquitoes. And they take all the hygiene measures, but they still have mosquitoes. So where they are lacking and why and what should they do to control the mosquito breeding?
Yeah, so I think again, going back to Dr. Rambabu's presentation, your house may be absolutely spick and span, but you may be throwing your used coconut shells, bottles into the next man's territory. And your place is absolutely clean, but within 500 meters, within 300 meters, the same is not the situation. So keeping the house clean and dry is, like you said, level 1 of your protection. But level 1 doesn't mean that there are no mosquitoes in the neighborhood, which is why you've talked about progressing to level 2, level 3, and level 4. So what we have to understand is this is a step-by-step process. Keep your house clean, keep your society clean, but that doesn't mean that around your society there is no stagnant water pool or any discarded material which could also act as larval breeding sites. So it's about the levels that you mentioned, Samiksha,
right.
And therefore we have to go through it in a stepwise manner.
Right. And I just want to add here that unless we start looking for such kind of breeding sites, we think that we are in the safe environment. I'm sure a lot of volunteers will share their experience with you who have worked in last month, that they thought they are safe, but when they started to look for breeding site actively and start searching for larvae, they were themselves surprised. So when you are saying this, you keep your society spick and span, just do this activity with your volunteer group and look around, really search for such kind of breeding sites which we have been showing you or telling you about. You will know it for yourself where the mosquitoes are breeding and why you are not being able to control that menace. Thank you, sir. I'll move on to this one.
Yeah, Samiksha, just want to add here. Actually, we should, in addition to this, take precaution to put nets over the vent of your septic tank. And if there is any vent over the water tank and other things, put a net over there. Subsequently, we'll be supplying insecticide treated nets and those can be put. But even if you don't have insecticide treated net, any net is helpful. And I see Dr. Rambabu strongly nodding. So you want to add anything here?
So one thing I would like to add, that is the what you are telling of that any cloth we can tighten up that septic tank tube, because that Culex mosquito will come out. Most of the Culex mosquitoes will come outside. And because of internal breeding, that it is the main cause of the more mosquito nuisance mosquitoes. So we can cover any cloth, we can cover, tie up that overhead tank, that septic tank over the tube.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Thank you. A small tip, but can really prevent mosquito breeding. Dr. Bharat, there are a couple of questions again on the clinical side. One is specific question which asks that when does dengue get severe and they need to worry about? And the other was also similar, to say that does it get severe in children and pregnant women? Dr. Bharat, can you just answer these two questions?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Samiksha. As we know, the dengue infection may be mild in a lot of patients. It may even pass off as a mild flu. But we do know that in some patients, it can lead to complications, and these groups have been identified. So we know that when the infection happens for the second time, you may have more complications. We know that certain groups like children, pregnant women, or elderly may have more complications. We also know that patients who have existing conditions, for example, diabetes, may have a higher rate of complications. Otherwise, we feel patients who do not hydrate well during the first 7 days, during the phase of fever, either they are unable to take enough water or fluids or neglect that in some manner and get dehydrated, they end up with more complications. So these are some of the high risk groups that also I think self-medication has been an issue. There are certain medicines that we should not take during the fever phase of dengue. So sometimes we tend to take medicines of our own violation, and that can increase the risk of complications. Thank you.
Thank you. I guess broadly we have answered all the questions. I'm not going on with each question. I see one hand raised. Let this be the last question. And if panelists may have to add anything else after this, they can. So I invite Mr. Nagireddy. I allow you to talk so you can ask your question, sir.
Hi.
Yeah.
So some of the cases in outside the building, that means common areas like drainage overflow, where there is so much of drainage overflow we are seeing since so many days. When we approach to the admin, local admin like municipal commissioner like that, so it's not has been resolved since so many days. Can we invite them into these volunteer groups so that cumulatively we can do anything? That is my suggestion or request.
Right. Anybody want to respond to it?
I'm sorry?
No, I'm just asking panelists. Sir,
Okay.
yeah.
Actually, for his what he is telling is the drainage of the overflow of the water in the roads. So that we have to inform to the control room of the GHMC also, a particular engineering department or sanitation department or entomology department. Entomology department will be spray in that overflowing of the dirty water, and the engineering department will be stop the whatever the defect is coming. Will do that engineering. Sanitation department. These are the things are doing by the GHMC. You can put into complaint to the GHMC. They will come out.
Sir, I just have a specific question regarding the same. In case there is delay from engineering department and GHMC, can we use oil for those areas?
We can spray for the team of us. We can spray there. Overflowing of the water is there temporarily. Can spray on the side.
Right.
It will be or any what he is telling is the kerosene or any waste oil. We can spray. Some problem will be reduced temporarily.
Right. Okay, thank you, sir.
Samiksha, yes, Samiksha, I think we need to look at that question that Nagareddy Garu raised, a suggestion. His suggestion is, can we also co-opt the authorities of the local areas? So what I would say is, the RWAs and the volunteers of that particular area, if they could co-opt, there is nothing stopping them from co-opting. But for each area, you start co-opting them into the bigger Project NOFEVER team, then it will become too big and unwieldy. But the local volunteers with the local RWA can co-opt others, the local authorities of that area. That would be the way to go for.
That is very important question. That the sir what is telling is in coordination of the internal departments. In the GHMC area, we can have a circle level, division level also. There is assistant entomologist or field worker or what are they that assistant engineer for water sources. All this before going to that area, that volunteers will go and introduce themselves to all the departments, and they can give feedback to those people also, and will get the result easily. So that is my suggestion.
Sir,
just I want to add at this point, sir. Just I want to add this point. Generally, this drainage overflow is required by the Hyderabad Metro Water Supply and Sewerage Board, sir. I think the local entomologist or the local health officer can contact the concerned person, and they will come and see that they will immediately correct the overflow, sir. And more often, it also depends upon all the residents also, not to throw anything into their latrines or something like the napkins or whatever it is. They should have that discipline, self-discipline to be there, sir. But what my suggestion, out of my experience, whenever I am going on the round, whenever the drainage overflow is there, we used to immediately inform the Hyderabad Metro or Water Supply and Sewerage Board officials, and they used to take the immediate action, sir. That will be the quite appropriate thing, right, sir?
I think I agree with Dr. Jairam that the first step of this would be responsible waste segregation, and that we ensure that in each of our houses we segregate waste properly and responsibly dispose it, so that this doesn't arise and our resources are not strained.
Right. Thank you, everyone. I think we have answered most of the questions, and I don't see any more hand raises. So if you all permit, then we would like to close this webinar. Can I invite Dr. Jairam to just say a word of thanks to everyone from the panelists to participants? Dr. Jairam?
Okay, Samiksha. I'm very happy to propose a vote of thanks. I feel extremely happy for the project undertaken by the Reddy Labs, University of Hyderabad, and with the help of the GHMC. So especially today, I thank Dr. Rambabu. In spite of his busy schedule, even though we're having a meeting with the ministers, he has paid with his time. Actually, I told him only for 20 minutes, but he's kind enough to sit for the whole session. So thank you, Rambabu Garu, once again. So I request your full cooperation in future also, because most of these things are related to the entomology wing. and most probably we can use the influence of the chief medical officer also, so that any other associated problems can be taken care of. So at outside, I thank Dr. Sauri and the other Ready Labs team for actually participating in this and going and taking the project forward. And I thank the IAP's team also for their all efforts. And I thank Mr. Chaitanya for arranging the webinar without any disconnection. And all the more important, I thank all the panelists and even more all the volunteers who have participated. So this is a very good practical session. If any volunteer is having any doubt, they can approach either Ready Lab people or IPJ. We'll be able to answer your questions in person also. And shortly we'll be opening our control room. Control room will be open, and so that you can access the control room for any one of your difficulties. Right. This is all from Mr. Amiksha. I think even though we told 1 hour, almost it's 2 hours. So thanks for all once again for sparing your Sunday's time. Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jair. Please join us on Telegram. Join Project No Fever. Raise your concerns and queries, or even appreciate us if you can on Telegram. We are welcome for any kind of feedback. And thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. We shall close now.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Samir.
Thank you.